Sport was a game changer for me. Sport was something that I can control. You can control your performance. You can work harder and you'd see the results. Sport, that barrier's just got shot down. You were a team against the other team. It didn't matter about the differences. Sport would bring people together, and that's what I loved. We could all work on our craft, channel our skills, but also grow in like a community and like a bond in that, which I don't think anything else really brings apart from sport. Hi, I'm Johnny Powell. I was born in Guildford, went to Portsmouth Uni and then moved over, graduated in July and moved over to Cardiff. Growing up, quite a normalish childhood. Like, it was just me and my brother and my two parents. Brother's 2 years older than me, so older brother, but lived in quite a competitive household. I've obviously been the youngest. I think it's just your job to be a bit rowdy and kind of mix things up and wind people up and almost play off people against each other to kind of stir a bit of arguments, to kind of get away from boring family life, I guess. I don't know, my dad's very, very quiet, kind of quiet type, kind of a bit silent, a bit like dry sense of humour, whereas my mum was one person I would kind of always talk to growing up as well, like very close to my mum. My brother's a different story. My brother is the total opposite personality to me. I was the sporty one, he was the academic one. I was the loud one, he was the quieter one. Like, I was the kind of one that when we argued, I'd take it out physically, whereas he would kind of use words more and kind of try and trip me up that way. And there was always competitiveness between us, where we wanted to kind of outdo each other, mainly me wanting to outdo him, I think. Without him knowing, he really rubbed me the wrong way like, a lot of times, and I wouldn't say we got on at all like, until probably the last few years. So going to school, it was all about kind of sport was my main focus. Always loved like PE and stuff like that. But the academic side, I guess, didn't come naturally to me, or I don't know. It's different. From a young age, I probably didn't like academic subjects or maths and stuff like that, and didn't really enjoy school ever. I was quite a chubby kid, which is weird looking back on, and that kind of led with quite a lot of lack of confidence. I think in year 7, 8, and 9. I had friends, but it wasn't like I had like set groups. I kind of got on with the amount of people, but I would be focused on my sport, and like most lunchtimes I'd be doing something to do with sport, and that's kind of how I dealt with everything in life, was like channel it into sport. Yeah, I'd probably look back and go, yeah, I was probably bullied about like being chubby and whatever. When someone would say something, you're like, oh, that's not who I thought I was. Like telling you, oh, you're fat, oh, you can't do this because you're fat, or oh, you're not popular, oh, you don't have friends. Like that, those little comments. I think people now look back and say, oh, it's just kids being kids. But actually, I think when you're in that situation, I think the words hit deeper. And I think for me, it wasn't in a way that I was like, I don't know, it wasn't a reaction like I would go home and cry or anything like that. It was more of I would unconsciously change my behaviour and stuff like that to try and kind of combat that or live up to different things. But for me, it wasn't like, oh, that was different to other people, or that was a different experience, or oh, looking back, oh, that was horrible. Like it was just, that was part of it. And it was almost like, again, with my competitiveness, like that's just made me who I am. Like it was character building, that I had that time of dealing with insults, dealing with people not liking you. Like, I think that's made me into not being a people pleaser. So I'm actually happy that I went through that. I was quite an angry person, angry child, I would say, growing up. And that's something I look back and I'm like, cool, that was bad. I did not have a good way of dealing with it as such. And I think for me, I think I probably hurt a lot of people. I probably took it out a lot of my brother. So my brother's the one that I'd probably look at and go, anger is on, because I'd physically like take it out or just lose it. Throwing myself into sport was a way of combating that. I could channel my anger through sport, I could channel all the things, and kind of, it was a safe space to go and kind of forget about that stuff. I think that was a signal for me, because I think I would internalise and bottle up everything. Now you would call it toxic masculinity, but before then they didn't have a name for it. It was literally like, I have to be okay. Weakness is like, you can't show weakness. So I just bottled it up and internalised it all. So I never actually spoke to anyone about it. So there was no like time where I would say, oh, I want to be someone else. That was me. But there was times where I just internalised it and forgot about it almost. So I headed to uni and obviously looking to get involved in sport, but didn't really feel like university sport was for me, and kind of was trying out different sports in first year. But then start of my second year, I heard about a thing called Bridge the Gap.
My name's Tristan, I'm based in Southampton and I am the founder of Bridge the Gap Football. So basically our heart for Bridge the Gap is we want to create footballing communities across the United Kingdom and bring people together to create spaces where people can belong, they feel part of something. Yeah, mental health for young guys is always going to be quite a big thing because young guys don't want to speak about how they are. Suicide rates are skyrocketing through the roof, and for me what we want to do is create spaces where people can we can actually ask how are you, but not just I'm fine. We actually want to get past that I'm fine. There was one lad who come and he played in the game, and we got loads of photos that day, and he ended up being on the front cover of all of our flyers, but we didn't see him for a few months. And then he started coming back to our sessions, started getting involved in our community a lot more, coming to our events. And actually what I didn't realise is a few months before that he was actually in prison. One of the first sort of port of calls that he come to was playing football because a friend invited him to Bridge the Gap. And I just think now seeing him coming every week, being part of our community, but he now has started his own business, he's got his own office, and so just what a story to see someone who was probably at the lowest point of his life to come and the first time engage with one of our, a simple football session, that's all it was. They have something that they look forward to, they have people that they can trust, but actually an environment that they love and they want to be at.
That's exactly what I love about sport, and that's exactly what I love to do, is just talk to people and get alongside them and just show them that they're not alone and stuff. From my previous struggles, I think that was something that was very much gearing down my path in life that I was kind of thinking about. Just being part of a community of people that I could go to and just have an escape from the busyness of life or whatever you were doing, just have a laugh with some mates. It creates an amazing community of people that you develop a deeper relationship than just people you meet, acquaintances at uni or whatever. It's real friendships you meet.
I think our dream for Bridge the Gap is endless. That's the dream. My dream is to have this in every continent in the world, to have it in places like China and Syria, India.
I think there's a real need for the stereotype that males don't talk about their feelings to be broken. And I would love to see just more and more males being open with their feelings and actually almost the freedom, I think, and less pressure and weight to carry stuff on our own.
I think when I ask people, what do you think about Bridge the Gap? And just literally on walking around a football pitch, I say to them, what is Bridge the Gap to you? What do you think of it? One of the key words that always comes up is community.
I think for me and my story, that was a big thing. It was actually talking about your feelings and actually being more open with people instead of pushing people away. And I think that's what Bridge the Gap gives, is a community and a support network where people come and just play football and be themselves and kind of meet people that are going through similar walks of life. Feel like they have a place where they can come and almost escape their other things in life and actually just feel free to share with the people and play football and have a laugh.